You know, my father had gone, he had a lot of business in Japan, so he would always come back with some amazing electronics, and we had a computer really early on in life, and I really got into sound through the Macintosh computer in the late 80s, and then was able to take some of my, I was also doing acting at the time. I was doing a lot of theater, and I was a kid, and I figured this blend of sound work, which I got hired at Skywalker Sound for when I was like 17 years old, my blend of sound work and my love of acting kind of came together. George Lucas gave me a lot of opportunities to use my voice in the film, in a lot of the movies, and normally taking the technology of what you're doing, processing voices in the computer, and then also using my own voice as an instrument is is how that kind of came together.
Fantastic. Now tell us about working with the legendary Ben Burtt.
Oh, fantastic, man. I mean, I worked with him for 20 plus years, and he's a legend in Star Wars. He's made the lightsaber sounds, the Wookiees, the TIE Fighters, the Millennium Falcon, lasers. He cuts picture, he cuts music, he's a storyteller, he's an actor, he's Wally, he's R2-D2. I mean, he's a fantastic person to work with, and really guided me in my early career on how to be one, a good person. We never really did a lot of overtime, and he was never a bad boss, and he always was encouraging in what to do. So I've really tried to maintain that with my crew as well.
So do you have a good Ben Burtt story you can tell us now?
You know, I just think it's fun sitting with him. Actually, one of the characters that I've sort of taken the mantle over from him on is the battle droids, and how those came together. He was doing some early mocap tests with the battle droids for Phantom Menace, and I remember he had done this. It was very early on, where the suits weren't as elaborate as they were now. Obviously, for Rogue One and all that, it's far more advanced. But basically, back then it was just a bunch of ping pong balls, literally, that he had on a little leotard. And he set one of the points of the ping pong ball up too high, and did all this mocap work for the battle droid, and it ended up that the battle droids ended up looking like they were walking around like this after they came out of the computer, and so their butts were up really high like that, and it was an error really, but then it ended up working. You know, it gave this kind of uneasy feel to them, that was purely out of an accident.
That's brilliant. Yeah. That's brilliant. And do you, as a sound designer and creator, have a favourite sound? It could be a natural sound in the world, or something you've created or Ben has created, perhaps.
My fondest memory of Star Wars, working on it, which I still am now, but my fondest memory was on Phantom Menace, actually, the pod race. That was just such a fun thing. George Lucas gave us a huge amount of latitude there.
So what are we hearing when we watch the pod race?
All kinds of things. I mean, I went out and recorded like a jet boat, helicopters, unmuffled Ferraris, custom-made cars on this one racetrack, rocket ships. I mean, I had months to go and pull in all these sounds. And World War I biplanes, which are really rare. We brought these all into the studio, and Ben would do his work on them to give each pod a very distinct sound. George wanted each pod to have, Sebulba's pod to be really
they all had their own engine sounds, didn't they?
Yeah. So and when you watch that, you hear those sounds, that you can very much identify them with the pod race, and it's not something that you hear every day. Star Wars is always has a weirdness to it, and it's kind of messy, it's kind of lived in and used, and that's kind of what we want to do with the sound as well.
It's fantastic what you do. We all enjoy it. Before we carry on chatting, I just want to check in with our droid builders, see how things are going. Dig through my contacts and find him.
Okay.
There we are. Golden boy, there he is.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
That's all right. So, anyway. Roger, Roger. Sorry, that was just like...
Warwick? Who's it? Warwick, is that you? It's very noisy. Can you speak? What are you doing? What do you want?
Anthony, it's Warwick, and I'm sure you're probably busy and all that, but...
Yes. Where are you? There's a lot of noise. Where are you?
Oh, well, I'm in the show right now.
Oh, what kind of show?
Well, it's a show all about droids.
Droids?
Yes.
Why wasn't I asked?
Well, You had your full hour yesterday on stage. You've done your show.
How rude!
Oh dear. So there's your answer, Matthew.
I guess he's not into it. All right, well, I tried.
Well,
I don't know what else I can talk about. My career is pretty limited. I've only been at Skywalker for 26 years. I don't have really much to talk about.
Right, well, let's just take another look in at our droid builders, see how they're getting on. See if there's been any progress since we last checked. Ah, oh, look at that. The saran wrap has been used with the polystyrene now.
Yeah,
I'm not sure saran wrap is a usual ingredient in building a droid, but they've got the cable that I gave.
I don't... Is this Disney approved?
It's going pretty well. Well done, guys. Keep going. Keep going. Well, Matthew, I will say it's been a pleasure to have you here, and thanks for all you're doing. Good luck with The Last Jedi. We're all very much looking forward to that.
Wish us luck.
Matthew Wood, everyone.
Thank you, Warwick. Cheers.
Thanks so much. Fantastic. Fascinating stuff. Right, so, as we move on to the next section of the oh no, it's Anthony. What do I do? Sorry. Hello?
Hello, Warwick?
Ah, yes?
Could I have a word with you?
Yeah, well, Anthony, of course you can, but I'm in the middle of a show right now. When do you want to have a word? When would be a good time for you? When would be a good time? Hello? Hello?
Can I have a word with you, Warwick?
Ooh. Bye. Anthony Daniels, everyone. Take a seat, sir. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
I guess my invitation just got lost in the post.
Yes, but there is one for you. There is an invitation for you. It's somewhere. Not quite sure where it is now.
I just have to sit and wait then. Anyway,
but you,
I'm here.
Anthony, I'm delighted that you're here, actually.
Because that. Why?
You do play the most famous protocol... Hang on. Oh, he's back again. He's back again.
Oh, what?
Yes. Self-healing droid. She's put her legs up. Very good. Oh, look.
What's this for?
It's for you.
It's for me?
Yes, it's your invitation to the show that you didn't get.
At last.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Drive carefully. Mind your legs, everyone. I think I need to get my lawyer on speed dial just in case, but there we go. Anthony, welcome to this show.
Thank you, Warwick.
You are, of course, the most famous protocol droid in existence. Yes. Now, when you were first asked to play this role, I hear you weren't very interested, but something inspired you to do it. What was all that about?
Yes, I think the older fans will have heard me talk before about my kind of reluctance to be in a funny little low-budget sci-fi movie in a costume. Because I think I was a very serious actor.
Were you a proper actor?
I was a proper actor.
Doing stage work?
Stage, yes. And then my agent actually pushed me into a meeting with George, who I'd never heard of, frankly. I'd not seen American Graffiti. I didn't know anything about it. And because this was in London. And I was on stage, but in a theatre very close to 20th Century Fox in Soho Square. So I did, just to please her, go. And I met George, and he, first of all, first thing I noticed is he was quite short. And I like short people. He said the other day he liked short people. Well, you know.
Most of them.
Not including you. Okay, special thing. But we had quite a flat talk, because I actually wasn't really very interested. And then I realized, I sort of changed my vision, and behind him on the wall was what I've now learned is called a concept painting, something they get an artist to sort of describe what a scene might look like. And I said, is this the character? And he said, you know, sure. And we kind of walked up to it and we looked. And I will tell you that looking into Ralph McQuarrie's painting, it moved my spirit. There was, this character just stood so bereft, looking out lonely, like he seemed to be saying, help me, come into the picture with me. You know, has anybody here seen the Mona Lisa in Paris? One of the most famous pictures ever. Yeah. In contrast to Ralph McQuarrie's painting, it's nothing. I don't care for that face. I don't care if she's smiling or whatever. Give me 3PO every time.
Tell us about the first time you ever tried on the costume. What was it like?
It was awful.
It
was absolutely. It was frightening.
For what reason? Because it was so tight, or
because they had spent 6 months making the costume.
Are these your very first steps in the costume? You hadn't quite created the walk there, had you? You see, it's
You're
interesting.
Kidding. I'm amazed.
Look at that. Look how shiny you were back then.
Including a shiny middle. That's really terrifying footage. Because no, literally, that was in a garage at Elstree Studios where we made the original film. And they put all this stuff on me for the first time. We'd done tests of this and whatever, but never the whole thing together. And they'd agreed, the studio had agreed that I would have the costume some weeks ahead of shooting. So I could be in a studio maybe with mirrors and a camera so I could really work out what I was doing. And it came down to that. And I said, well, now can we take the costume? And they said, no, it's got to be packaged up to go to Tunisia. And that was it. That was the only time I had it on until we arrived on Tatooine, and there's a tent with all those pieces laid out in one sort of table. And gradually, over 2 hours, they stuck it on me. And then I walked out and you know, had a great sort of reaction. But then I will admit, can I admit this? I was kind of making it up as I went along. Because I didn't know what to do. I hadn't been able to rehearse in it. And fortunately, the first scene was pretty much, you know, talking about programming binary load lifters, very similar to evaporators in many respects. But, but I couldn't even get those words out because I was so confused by, you know, I'm standing there going, and you know, there's Uncle Owen talking about whatever, Giabachi and all that kind of thing. It was terrifying. And gradually, over the days that followed, I did as much practicing as I could by myself and so on. And gradually, I'd never admitted this before, but 3PO sort of evolved as we went along because we were, the schedule just moved and moved and moved. So a lot of it was on the fly, as it were.
So it's kind of like you were creating a beautiful painting for us, but kind of improvised at first, and then once you saw the shape coming, you honed in on what was good.
Yeah, and my instinct as an actor and as somebody could do mime was to work out what worked and what I needed to position to make it. I mean, for instance, if I needed to look over there in a shot, there was only this number of degrees of movement of the head, so relative to the shoulders. So if you look carefully, I've already positioned in one way, so I can actually use the full system over there. Do you see? The ways of cheating, frankly. But on the first day, it's coming back to me. I'm kind of in there, and I said to the continuity girl, Liz, could you take a Polaroid picture of me because I don't know what I look like? And she did. She went, and then she held it up in front of me so I could really study 3PO's face on my head and kind of understand where I was going with this. It was a really confusing moment. Sorry. But it worked out in the end.
It did, absolutely. Absolutely. And then more recently, we're being introduced to more droids into the Star Wars
films. You can
films.
never have too many droids.
There's some new droids on the block, yeah.
New droids on the block.
I'm sure there's many fans in the room of Chopper. We've got some Chopper fans here. And another new droid. What about BB-8 as well? How do 3PO and BB-8 get along?
They get along absolutely gloriously because, first of all, BB-8 is really, really very polite and sort of courteous to 3PO. And, you know, he's very young, and I think 3PO has a slightly paternal feeling towards him, yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
That's lovely to know. I mean, he's a terrific character, isn't he? I mean, he really is. His little roundness, and he's so sweet, isn't he?
Yeah, and...
It's BB-8, everyone.
BB-8!
Right, actually, Anthony, you might be quite useful here. Since you speak droid, maybe you could help interpret for us. So, BB-8, come over here, fella.
Yeah.
Or is BB-8 a girl?
Oh, hands up who thinks it's a boy. BB-8, we've done that. We've done that.
I think I've upset BB-8.
Yeah.
I've upset BB-8 there.
BB-8.
Can we have a chat, BB-8?
Yeah.
Right, so Anthony, you speak droid, so I'm going to ask BB-8 a couple of questions. If you could give us the translation, that'd be great. So,
right.
So BB-8, hello. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, he says how wonderful it is to be with Anthony Daniels again.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, BB-8.
So, BB-8, how do you enjoy all this recognition and love you receive from the fans?
Oh, he says when he was at droid school, he was picked on because he was rather small.
Oh.
Yeah, but now with all the love and affection and just wonderful attention from the fans, his self-confidence has really made him happy.
Oh, that's lovely. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
I'm very pleased to hear that,
Yeah.
BB-8. That's fantastic. And now, BB-8, can you tell us about your latest adventure?
BB-8, spoiler alert, you have to be careful. Okay, yes, yeah, no, be very careful. Walls have ears.
Oh.
Yes, Mickey Mouse ears.
And finally, BB-8, I've been asking all my guests on the show today, why do you think droids are so loved?
Oh.
What do you say?
LPDA.
LPDA, what does that mean?
Loyalty, dependability, personality, and just the right amount of attitude.
Brilliant
Very
answer.
nicely said.
Ladies and gentlemen, BB-8.
Oh, excellent.
Bye.
Oh. Very nice. Why don't you walk over here? Warwick.
Yes.
I'm going to go off with my new friend, if that's right, because I have fans, you know, and they're waiting for me in another place.
What, you mean you've got to leave?
Yes, I've got to leave, because you've got to learn to do a show on your own, Warwick. I can't keep rescuing you. It's time you learn, so I'm going to say goodbye.
Oh, Anthony. Anthony Daniels, everyone. Terrific. Okay. Right. Well, that was unexpected. Great stuff. Okay, let's check in with the droid builders. How are things going back there?
Hello. Very nice.
Welcome, Alan. Make yourself comfortable.
Yeah, no doubt.
So what do you make of all this craziness here at Celebration?
This is mental. I love it. I love it. It's brilliant.
So coming into this world of Star Wars, did you know what you were getting yourself into?
No, no, not at all. I mean, I had experienced sci-fi fans in the sci-fi world by doing a show called Firefly back in the day, where there are a lot of fans, a lot of crossover happening. Wash lives. Through about 3/4 of the movie, and then so I did know the sci-fi world and going to conventions, but the really until I saw the movie put together. Well, no, even when we were shooting the movie, you were there when we were in Jeddah, just looking around that set. It was amazing how many creatures were there that I don't think all of them ended up in the movie. Just the most beautiful creatures, and the art that was put into it, and the different characters, their religions are being practiced, and all of this life happening, and that's just, it seemed very alive. And we were walking through telling our story, and it seems like there's just nothing but stories going on and on and on. And just the level of production value, the the artistry and everybody's commitment to it, it was just a whole
Absolutely.
different level.
I mean, it was a very real experience, you know, for a film that, you know, consists of a lot of CG and effects that are put on afterwards. Actually filming it, though, a lot of the things that we see on screen did actually exist, didn't they, for real?
Absolutely. Remember that big, there was like this big droid who was being dragged by, or he was being, I think he was being dragged by this smaller creature who had the little elephant nose, and I mean, I don't even think I saw that in the movie, and he was like a 2-story droid.
Yeah, it was
enormous.
Huge. Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. Now, obviously you're an actor, but did you audition for this role in a conventional way, or how did it come about?
I was called by Gareth. I was asked to do a Skype conversation with him. And I assumed, and I just found this out last night, so I assumed that they called me because I did Sonny and I, Robot. So I had been a different motion capture droid before. And they would be, you know, we need a motion capture droid, give me the motion capture droid guy, that Sonny guy. And it was that kind of, but then also John Schwartz, the producer, was a huge fan of Firefly, which is so cool. And so he knew me from that. And then also Frank Oz, who played Yoda, is also a great accomplished director, and he had directed a movie called Death at a Funeral that I did, where I'm on drugs in this, like actually the character's on drugs.
Yes, that's it. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah. So the character's on drugs, and he's going through a lot of mood swings, and there was a scene, the audition scene, that they sent me involved a lot of mood swings. It was a scene that didn't make it into the movie, where we were landing on a planet, I think it was the planet that Saw Gerrera lived on, or a moon that had a weird magnetic field around it that scrambled K2 going in. So the audition scene was that kind of like, well, we're going, everyone is going to be fine, you know. In 3 seconds, we will be destroyed. And so this whole the craziness. And I did it in an American accent, and I did it in sort of what I did Sonny in, which was just very pronounced, sort of stuffy American, and then a British accent, which he became. And they said, do that one. And they gave me the job at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. I went and met with him, and then we just talked. And he goes, you want to do it?
Well, we're absolutely thrilled you got the part. I mean, and it's down to you that character has become so loved by the fans. Why? What do you think the secret is? I mean, obviously you and your performance, but I mean, he's endearing in so many ways, isn't he, to watch?
Yeah, he was so much fun to play. There was a scene. It's in the movie where he says, "Why does she get a gun, but I don't?" And that line, that sort of petulance, that childlike quality, I really latched onto. And then there was another scene that didn't end up in the movie, but I redid it in that scene where we're looking down on Jeddah. I'm stacking some crates, and Cassian and Jen are walking past, and Cassian goes, "Come on, K2, we're going." And I'm in the middle with the box and just go and throw the box and walk away. And that's when Jen handed me her thing, that I just let it drop. That I love that he doesn't follow rules, he does what he wants to. And that kind of carried through, and Gareth was very much into us improvising and finding things. And
tell us a little bit about the filming process. I mean, how were you transformed from Alan to K2SO?
Well, when I go to work, I would take off the spandex unitard I wore to work, which I tend to wear. And I put on a different spandex unitard that they provided me. It had a lot of little triangles and numbers on it. It was a really cool one. Having worn a couple before. And then I put on stilts, which were ski boots. It was ILM made these stilts, so they were really easy to walk on. They were the lightest weight ski boots that had then a prosthetic leg and foot off the bottom, and it was an athletic foot that had a lot of bounce in it. So it was pretty easy to get used to, and that's how I looked. That was it, and that was K2 walking around on set.
Fantastic. Well, we got some behind-the-scenes footage now of you at work. Let's take a look.
Please. doesn't sound so bad to me.
I haven't seen this scene. What happens here? Little Planet of the Apes. Oh yeah. Big black. I wore those every once in a while. A little con man sticker on there. There we go.
Now, this was filmed at a tube station in London, wasn't it?
Yeah. Tube station at night. Oh my God, it was so crazy. We had to get it all done in the night, and so we were running around. That was our first day of shooting. That's in Jordan, and that's my silly backpack that I couldn't stand. That Diego made fun of me the entire time when I wore it. No one respects you anymore on this film that you wear this. He's so much fun.
Oh, sorry, that was the fuels. Shit.
Did using that become second nature in the end, though? Once
These things?
Yeah.
Never.
Oh.
They were, I did get better shoulder muscles, though. That was good. Whoops.
It's still the end of the world. 19 days later.
Fabulous.
Fabulous. Good. Cool.
That's such a candid and unique look behind the scenes at the making of a film. It's fabulous. And, you know, I
Movie, but it was so great because, I mean, my stuff in the Maldives didn't end up there.
So you had a holiday, basically.
Exactly.
Lovely.
We lived on boats, and so we all, it was kind of like camping. Everybody would eat at the same table and get up and eat breakfast. And I went home one night, and there was a whale shark swimming outside of our boat, and I got to swim with the whale shark one night.
Wow.
It's a pretty good perk, an on-job perk. Go back to your hotel and swim with a whale shark.
Now, Alan, why do you think it is droids are so loved?
I don't know. I love them. I love them, so what is it? Is it that they're kind of like pets? Kind of. They own them. People own them a lot of times. So like, I'm Cassian's, sort of, right? Like Cassian reprogrammed me from an Imperial droid, and yeah, I think of him as like a father, or like a youth counselor, you know, but one of the good ones, I think it's because they're sort of, they do support you. He's not friendly to everybody, but he is definitely committed to Cassian. And they do provide a lot of the heart. Definitely in Rogue One for K2SO, there's a lot of, I don't know, there's some darkness in that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, it gets pretty dark. And to have a droid there who just can be very pragmatic and speak his honesty, and sometimes it's the honesty of the moment, you know, that if it's, you know, Cassian said I had to. You know, everybody's like, we're all gonna be heroes. He's like, I'm coming too. Cassian said I had to. It's not, you know, he's a droid. He can kind of, he has his own logic. And
I think we really empathised with the character, and you know, it was interesting that you know, unusually for a droid, you had a death scene, didn't you? See, but I remember watching the film and being, oh no, and I felt emotion for what is essentially some bits of metal and servos and things.
well, there was a lot more in there than just metal.
No offence,
Like, you know.
Oh, hang on a minute. Oh no. My God, it's Anthony again. Hello? Anthony? Yeah, I'm still in my show.
Warwick.
Yes.
It's very disturbing. I hear you've got a fake droid on stage. Yeah. Look, there's a lot of fakery around. You know how worried I am about autographs and so on. And suddenly you have the nerve to put in front of this delightful audience. You just have any old rubbish on stage, people who pretend to be robots and all that kind of thing.
Yes.
It just worries me very, very much. So I think I have to...
Anthony, sorry to interrupt. Somebody who looks a lot like you is walking through my auditorium.
Yeah, Warwick, that rather handsome chap, yes, yeah. Oh, is this the fake droid they're talking about?
Fake?
Yeah, okay.
Alan, I'm so sorry about this.
Have this man arrested. Okay.
Anthony, Daniel.
He's back again.
Oh, what a cheap trick.
Wow. Welcome back. Again.
I told you, you can't do it without me, Warwick.
Well, since you're here, I have got a good question for
What's
you.
that?
What did you think of Alan's portrayal of K2?
Well, now, how long have we got? I met you, didn't I, at, where was that place, the big shed thing in the middle of nowhere, where they used to house blimps. Anyway.
Yeah. When we were shooting Rogue One.
That's right.
It was, big hangar.
A big hangar. And you came and interviewed me because you just needed to know, you told me I was the inspiration for your art and that you wanted to know how to be a robot. Not really.
I asked for a cup of tea. That's not me.
That's right. We met backstage and it was great fun. You kind of outlined that you were going to have more attitude than 3PO, and I was already jealous. And then, of course, I asked you the question, and then I was really jealous.
About whether or not I was going to be wearing a practical costume or evidently a fake costume. You know,
However,
fake is a four-letter word that starts with F.
Okay. There are children present. But you know, watching that footage now, I was amazed just how much clutter you did have to have on. It wasn't easy, was it?
No. The stilts would hurt about hour 10. That's nothing for you.
Although Anthony did tell me that he was jealous of your spandex.
You don't know what I've got underneath here. Oh, yes.
What is going on underneath there?
It'll be on eBay very, very shortly. Lots of little itchy wires and so on. But I loved your character because you did have pisses you off, right?
Yeah, he's great like that. There was a scene that was cut. There was also somebody tells K2 to carry some things, and he just says, no.
Whereas 3PO would say, that's not going to be possible, sir. I'm afraid. 3PO's always apologizing. I don't think your character would ever apologize.
He apologizes. He apologizes to Cassian after he slaps him.
If 3PO and K2SO had a battle of wits, who would win? You might want to, you could act out this conversation if you want, man.
That's a terrible thing to say, how dare you.
I don't know how long the Wits would go on with K2.
Well, they never appear. What did you say? I'm sorry, can you speak it?
He would he would just poke you.
Yes, he would, because he's a man of, he's a droid of few words. Am I right? Yeah.
Yes,
You didn't have many lines to learn, did you? You didn't.
I was a lot of just this.
Really?
There were some, but
Oh, hang on. Hang on. Uh-oh, look out. Mind your legs, everyone. What's this?
Is this
There's a note here and also mints here. Anybody want a mint?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
At the end of the show here.
Thank you.
No. Yes,
you
it's
gonna
saying...
eat that cookie?
No, do you want it?
Yep.
Oh.
I won't have the cookie, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like some cookie?
No. Some of us have to keep slim to get back in our suit.
Good work. Well, that note, I'm afraid, says we're out of time. But before we finish, let's just check in one last time on the droid builders. Maybe they could present their creation. Do we have, have you finished? You got something you can bring on? Oh, look, looking good. Looking good. Frankendroid, yes. Marvellous creation there. An Ewok merged with a droid, yes. Wonderful. What do you think of that, huh?
I love it. Do you want to put the hairdress on again?
No, I don't. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my very special guests, Mr. Alan Tudyk and Anthony Daniels. This has been the most marvellous Droid Fest. And to finish it off, let's welcome some droids onto the stage.
Thank you, sir.
BB-8. Oh, there's Chopper.
Everywhere.
Ow. Come on, Chopper. R2-D2. Look at this. They're all here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the show. There's loads more to come at Celebration. Mark Hamill coming on this stage very soon. But in the meantime, farewell and may the Force be with you. Bye-bye.